today with many important decisions to be taken. First off, we move on to item number 12. Mr. Schmid.
Thank you. So item number 12, the agenda item reads questions and objections and appeals, if any, against the decisions of the Council, the Director General, the sports directors and technical committees during the period since the last Congress, not otherwise acted upon by the Disciplinary Commission, including approval of ISU communications requiring continued validity in line with Article 28, Paragraph 3. Communications requiring continued validity. The relevant communications are listed on the handout we gave you this morning. And communications informing about decisions of the ISU Disciplinary Commission and or the Court of Arbitration of Sport are not listed but remain valid. The communications decisions of the Council, including routine decisions such as allotments of ISU events, membership issues, appointments, world record homologations, and other information statistics are not listed but obviously remain valid. If any decision taken by this Congress would result in any of the listed communications to become obsolete or incomplete, such communication would have to be updated as soon as possible after the 22 Congress. So as a first step on this agenda item, we have to approve the communications listed on the handout you received this morning for continued validity. The handout includes the communications which were already on the agenda in the communication, plus those communications which were issued thereafter, between the issuing of the communication and the Congress. So you have, with this handout, all the communications which are subject to approval for continued validity. Now, are there any questions or objections of any of those communications listed on this handout? Yes. Yes, please. Maybe yeah. You can take off your mask and please state your federation and name.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Susan Sandvig Schob, U.S. Speed. Just a question and point of clarification. Communication 2368 is missing the prize money for the 4 continents for both short track and long track, and also for the mixed team for short track. So if
can you be more precise?
There is no prize money listed for the 4 continents for both short track and long track on the Communication 2368 prize money for the ISU championships. And we awarded prize money at the last 4 continents, so I think it was just left off of here.
Let's say that we will double check. Okay. If this is the case, we will, as I mentioned before, update the communication and issue a new communication. Okay,
and also for the mixed team for short track, a new event.
Okay.
And then my second question for clarification is, on this list is Communication 2195 for mass start, but that was replaced by 2477. So if that can be taken off of here.
Which one we can, you say the first one is obsolete, you say?
2195 should be obsolete.
2195.
And 2477 is the one that replaces it.
Is this correct? I don't know whether some speed skaters have this on top of their mind to... It's correct. So 2195 obsolete. Thank you very much. So we'll double check the prize money, and if accurate what you say, we will update the prize money communication. Are there other comments or objections to any of these communications listed on the handout you got this morning? No? In this case, subject to this verification, we approved all these communications on this handout for continued validity. Thank you so much. Now, this is the continued validity of the communications. However, are there any other objections and appeals against any decision of the Council, the Director General, the sports directors or directors and technical committees during the period since the last Congress, not otherwise acted upon by the Disciplinary Commission, including approval, Disciplinary Commission, full stop. So besides the communication, so most decisions obviously are included in the communications, but if there is anything else you were not happy about, this is the moment to say so. It's not the case in this case. We put for the minutes that there were no objections or appeals whatsoever. Thank you very much. This concludes item 12.
Thank you very much for accepting. Then we move on to item number 13, report of the decisions of the Disciplinary Commission during the period since the last Congress. The floor is yours, Mr. Waldeck.
Dear Mr. President, dear Council members, dear delegates, the report includes 17 cases that we have decided since the last Congress in 2018. 15 come from figure skating and 2 from speed skating. 5 doping cases were decided. 5 cases of figure skating judges for violation of rules, including national bias. 5 cases were inadmissible, 2 cases for breaching the code of ethics. After receiving a complaint, we first check the admissibility of the complaint. Let me explain the term admissibility and the procedure behind it. An admissible claim must state the name of the complainant, the alleged offender, comply with the time limit for bringing an action, and set out the facts to be adjudicated. According to our rules of procedure, only actions concerning a violation of disciplinary rules, ethic rules, or doping rules are admissible. We have received complaints from spectators against a judge from the USA, from skaters against a judge from Uzbekistan. Both complaints were filed by anonymous persons. They were therefore dismissed as inadmissible. As the actions were obviously inadmissible, they were not given a file number. Inadmissible complaints. In case number 7 from 2018, the Skating Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina sued Mr. Delic for staffing the organizing committee on the 2019 European Youth Olympic Festival in Sarajevo. The dispute about the staffing of an organizing committee did not fall within our jurisdiction because it didn't concern disciplinary or doping issues. In case number 8 from 2018, the deadline for filing the complaint had passed. Therefore, the action was dismissed as inadmissible. The time limit for filing the action in the year 2018 was 60 days. In case number 1 from 2021, the action was also filed too late, but this action in particular concerned a matter that was of great public interest and should have been decided. We found that the time limit of 60 days was too short and therefore proposed to extend the time limit to 1 year. Accordingly, Article 25, paragraph 6 of the ISU Constitution 2021 has been amended to provide that the time limit for bringing an action is now 1 year. In the proceeding number 5 in 2021, the same complainant again sued for the same facts that had already been the subject of complaint number 1 from 2021. A legal concept originating in Roman civil law says non bis in idem, which means that no legal action can be instituted twice for the same cause of action. Therefore, we dismissed this action as inadmissible. Case number 2 in 2021, Starigina. The alleged offender was a national skater and member of the Figure Skating Federation of Russia. She never had participated at ISU events. She competed in the ice dance event at the Russian Federations Cup. The analysis of her sample by the Moscow laboratory revealed the presence of furosemide. WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, specifically requests the ISU to take legal action against Ms. Starigina. The ISU legal advisors have recommended to the ISU Council that no legal action should be taken. The Federations Cup is not an event as described in ISU Rule 100. Therefore, the ISU Disciplinary Commission has no jurisdiction over this type of event. We decided that the case Starigina was not within the jurisdiction of the ISU Disciplinary Commission and dismissed the motion to refer the matter to RUSADA. All the actions I have mentioned to you so far were inadmissible and were not decided on the merits. Now we come to the breach of Code of Ethics. In 2 cases we ruled on a breach of the Code of Ethics. Case number 4 from 2019 involved an offensive behavior by a coach in public. We issued a reprimand to the coach. In case number 5 from 2019, a judge was already drunk during the draw and could not perform his duties in the judging panel in the following days. The judge was suspended for 2 years. We had 5 different doping cases. Number 1 in 2019, Shakun. In case number 1, the substance furosemide was found in the skater's sample. The skater explained that she had taken furosemide upon advice of a pharmacist shortly before the competition because of an eye swelling, thereby forgetting that it was on the prohibited list. We decided a period of ineligibility of 1 year, which is half of the standard period for specified substances, as adequate and proportionate to the degree of fault of the skater. Case number 2 from 2019, Mikhailov. This case was a doping case in which, in our view, there was no doping. The skater had taken a food supplement and had reported on the doping control form that he had taken the supplement of the brand Almax. The laboratory then tested the sample for the substance hugenamine and found a value of 7 nanograms. According to a WADA technical document, hugenamine should not be reported at levels below 10 nanograms. The chair of the ISU Medical Commission and an independent anti-doping expert confirmed that the substance hugenamine was reported below the threshold of 10 nanogram, with the consequence that no doping offense has been committed. They therefore proposed to close the case. Accordingly, we dismissed the case against the skater. But WADA appealed our decision to CAS. Our decision was set aside. The skater was found to have committed an anti-doping rule violation and was sanctioned with a 2-year period of ineligibility. Neither the ISU legal advisors nor the ISU Medical Commission considered the CAS ruling being correct. Case number 3 from 2019, Koshevaya. The skater had taken the substance taurosamide because she had a swelling of her foot. She had read in the World Wide Web, probably Dr. Google and so on, that the substance may help to remove the swelling. According to the WADA prohibited list, taurosamide is a specified substance. Consequently, a 2 years ineligibility had to be imposed. Case number 1 from 2020. Following an in-competition anti-doping test, the sample was found to contain canrenone. According to the WADA prohibited list, canrenone belongs to the diuretics and masking agents, which is a specified substance prohibited at all times. The skater explained that she had taken substance for medical reasons on advice of her dermatologist, thereby forgetting that it was on the prohibited list. Since she took the drug on the instruction of a doctor, who was also unaware that the substance was on the prohibited list, the ban was reduced to 1 year. Case number 4 from 2021, Blockhusen. The ISU conducted an out-of-competition sample collection in Herrenveen and Dwingelo at 3 Dutch skaters. Whereas 2 of the tested skaters did their tests without any problem, the alleged offender refused to wear a face mask during the control. He stated that he will never wear a mask in his own house. The alleged offender was explained the rules applicable for doping tests during the COVID-19 pandemic and his responsibilities. He did not change his mind, even having been aware of the fact that the whole Netherlands was an area of high infection risk at the time of the test. In the WADA guidance for testing, face masks must be used by both the blood control officer and the athlete due to the increased physical proximity necessary to collect a blood sample. By refusing to wear a face mask, the alleged offender violated WADA rules on the protection of doping control officers. Mr. Blockhusen was guilty of a misconduct and was reprimanded. Now we come to national buyers and figure skating judges and national buyers. I proceed to the most difficult, complicated and difficult cases of the last 4 years. These are about the evaluation of figure skating judges. It is the question of how far the marks of one judge can deviate from the marks of the other judges, and if there is a deliberate preference for the skaters of his country called national buyers. According to the so-called field of play doctrine, the decisions of referees and judges may not be changed or overturned by a panel. To overturn a field of play decision, there must be evidence, which generally must be direct evidence or bad faith. In other words, there must be some evidence of preference for or prejudice against a particular skater. It is not sufficient if a judge only deviates in his marks from the marks of the other judges. It is rather necessary that he deliberately marks the skater from his country too high and their competitors too low. At the Congress 2018 in Sevilla, 2 cases of Chinese judges were pending who had officiated at the Olympic Winter Games 2018. Case number 2 from 2018, Huang. In the short program, the judge awarded the 2 Chinese pairs the highest GOEs of all competing pairs. GOEs means the abbreviation of grade of execution for the speed skater, and the figure skater know what I mean. In addition, in his free program, judging, he shows a clear tendency to set a difference in points between his pair and their direct competitors. The alleged offender was the only judge who awarded the Chinese couple the first place. We suspended Mr. Huang in his function as ISU judge for 1 year. Case number 6 from 2018, Ms. Chen. She officiated at the men's event of the Olympic Winter Games in the short program and in the free program. In the short program, the GOE scores for the Chinese skater show a clear tendency towards national bias. None of her other judges have supported this result. The marks of the alleged offender for the free program show the same approach as in her judging of the short program. In general, she awarded the Chinese skater the highest GOE score on each element, and she was the only judge of the panel who awarded the Chinese skater marks of 9.50 for his components, while all other judges had average component marks less than 9.0. There was no doubt at all that she preferred the Chinese skater over the other competitors, and this fulfills the elements of national bias. Ms. Chen was suspended in her function as ISU judge for 2 years. Case number 2 from 2020, Cesaro. The disciplinary offenses Mr. Cesaro was accused of occurred during the ISU European Figure Skating Championship and the ISU Junior World Figure Skating Championship 2020. According to the ISU Constitution, complaints must be filed, Constitution in 2018, I might have to be precise, must be filed within the Disciplinary Commission within 60 days of learning of the facts or events which constitute a disciplinary or ethical offense. The time limit for filing a complaint about the marks given by Ms. Cesaro at the European Championships had expired. Therefore, this part of the complaint was inadmissible. The marks of the alleged offender given at the ISU Junior World Figure Skating Championship were unapparent national bias. The marks of the judges were reviewed both by the events referee and by the Official Assessment Commission, the OAC. In this case, neither the referee nor the OAC have challenged the alleged offender's cause, no determined national bias. Since both the referee and the OAC evaluated the marks but did not challenge them, the ISU DC panel had no evidence of national bias. However, the DC panel did not miss the fact that the marks and the judging of the alleged offender, figure skating seems like a sophisticated handling of marks in the evaluation of Italian and French couples. Although this assessment acts as a hidden preference for the Italian couple, it remains only a suspicion without evidence of intentional national bias. Hence is absent proof of bias, malice or bad faith. For this reason, our Commission adhered to the principle of Roman law in dubio pro reo and to the principle of field of play. Accordingly, the complaint was dismissed. Case number 3 from 2021, Chico Gietze. Ms. Chico Gietze served as judge on the men's panel at the ISU Figure Skating World Championship 2021. The official assessment commission considered her marking of the performance of a Georgian skater in the short program as national bias. Regarding the free program, the OSC commented that the evaluation of the elements and program components were consistently higher than the rest of the panel. She had received a letter of warning already on April 30, 2020, due to the suspicion of national bias in her marks at the European Figure Skating Championships and the Youth Olympic Games 2020. By her marking, the alleged offender disregarded her duty not to show bias for or against any competitor and to be always completely impartial and neutral. She was suspended for 1 year. The last case in 2020, or the first case, Petish. Mr. Petish served as a judge on the pairs panels for both segments, short program and free skating, at the ISU European Championships 2022. The Technical Commission, Figure Skating, accused Mr. Petish of favoring the two Hungarian couples. By upgrading both his pairs' GOEs and component marks in both programs and downgrading all marks of their strongest competitors, he demonstrated a systematic preference for the skaters from his nation. However, it remains only at the level of suspicion, since it lacks evidence of intentional national bias. For this reason, our Commission adhered again to the principle of Roman law in dubio pro reo and the principle of field of play. We dismissed the complaint. Cases in which a judge is accused of national bias require careful consideration and in-depth knowledge. The Disciplinary Commission cannot overrule a judge's opinion without proof of deliberate favoritism on the part of the judge. For this, we rely on the reports of the referee and the OSC. Above all, we appeal to the OSC to deliver a clear statement in its report that the judge's assessment is to be regarded as a national bias. To evaluate whether a marking is a deliberate favoritism of one's own skater requires a great deal of experience in figure skating. Therefore, it is obligatory that two members of this commission have experience in figure skating, be it as a former active skater, as a judge, or as a technical controller. Finally, I would like to thank the legal advisors for the good cooperation and say thanks to you, Freddy Schmidt and his team. My special thanks goes to my colleagues from the Disciplinary Commission. May I ask them to stand up? Susan Petricevic from New Zealand. Alan Böhm from Slovakia. Albert Haselhoff from the Netherlands. And Jeff Monette from Canada. I'm stepping down from the Disciplinary Commission. It has been a great pleasure for me to have worked for the Commission for almost 20 years. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldeck, and I would like to thank you very much, you and your commission, for a great job done in the past years. Thank you very much. Then we move on to the next item. 14 we have done yesterday, as well 15. We come back to 15 on Friday for the Disciplinary Commission. And then we can move on to item number 16. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 16 reads approval of motions concerning amendments to the Constitution and its procedural provisions and general regulations specifically designated and summarized in the agenda as drafting matters, and approval of these drafting matters, motions and/or referral of certain of those motions identified as such for debate and vote. The following motions labeled as drafting members have been identified. Well, we didn't identify any, and the reason is that sometimes so-called drafting matters could hide a substantial change in the rule, and that the selection of such drafting matters has to be done very carefully, and this time no real drafting matters were identified. So it doesn't save time, but on the other hand, if it's really something close to a drafting matter, it will not take too much time during the debate either. So that's all I can say for this point.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then we can move on to the next item. This is the item number 17, the start of the proposals regarding the Constitution. Now we start with the first item, item number 1, regarding Article Paragraph 3, the maximum age. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. Maybe first let me remind you of a new provision in the Constitution which was adopted in 2018, which is Article 30, Paragraph 7, named Deliberations and Debates on Proposals. It's quite a long provision. I don't want to read everything, so you have it in your rule book. But I think the key elements are that only one statement should be maximum 3 minutes. So if you have something to say, not more than 3 minutes. Then only one representative per ISU member can speak, and not more than twice. That's another key provision. And the proposing member is allowed to speak first. And finally, or not finally, among the key new elements, modifications of proposals must be presented in writing. This is to avoid confusion. But there are quite a few other provisions in this article 30, para 7. So please have a look at this provision. I suggest that we do a present roll call as soon as we need the first electronic vote. Like this, we are sure we have the last situation at the time of the vote. So we can start with the first proposal. So proposal number 1, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania figure skating. About Article 13, Paragraph 3, is to increase the maximum age for elected office holders to 80 instead of 75. Before I give the floor to the 3 proposing members, a reference to the Council recommendation. The Council is not in favor. The same proposal was proposed already in 2018 by Bosnia, and at that time it was withdrawn. The Council is aware of the need to apply principles of good governance and widely accepted best practices as all favor age and term limits. Mindful of the importance of good governance and the related image and credibility of the ISU, the Council is not in favor of this proposal, and it must also be noted that the IOC applies an age limit of 70 years. So now, according to this Article 37, the proposing federations have the possibility to comment on their proposal. So please, the delegates from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania figure skating, if you would like to add something, that's the moment to get to the microphone. You are not obliged to, but you can. No further comments? Anybody else would like to speak on this? Yes, please. Australia.
Mr. Schmidt, Peter Lynch from Australia. It's just if I could ask that we have a secret ballot on this vote, please.
Okay, we have a motion for a secret ballot. Those in favor of a secret ballot, please show the green card. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's clearly more than 10%. You agree that's more than 10% without losing time for a electronic vote just on the secret ballot or not? So we do a secret ballot and ask the 2 scrutinizers to join the operators. But let's start with a present roll call. One more intervention. Please. Yes, please. Go to the microphone.
Your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there other interventions? Yes, please.
President, Council, dear members.
Please state your name and your federation, please.
Mona Adolfsen, Norway. I agree that you will be able to do a lot of things when you grow up and get older. But we have to consider the younger ones in our federation. We have to go on, and we will use your experience, the older ones, for other things. So you will still have the knowledge in our organization, and we can use it, but you don't need to be in these positions. So I will suggest that we will support the decision of the Council, or the recommendation of the Council, to not vote yes for this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other interventions? Difficult to see, so be careful. No. In this case, first we do a present vote to make sure that we have the system up and running and we have everybody in the room. So, as we have done yesterday, please push 1 and valid, and on your display it should show value 1 or value 2. Go slowly, don't rush. Please vote now 1 and valid. Please close the vote. And we check if everybody's here. Can we see who is not or supposedly not here? Australia Speed, is that correct? You're here? Can somebody double check Australia Speed? Okay, to be sure, I'm sorry, but it's better to do another vote so we get the 119 votes, so we are 100% sure everything is okay. So please prepare another vote. So one again, press 1 and valid. And it should show on your display value 1 or value 2, depending on whether you have 1 or 2 votes. If it doesn't show value 1 or value 2, please raise your hand. Okay, let's close the vote and again, hopefully get the 119 votes. Bravo! So now let's prepare the secret vote for proposal number 1. But it's arriving when? Huh? Unfortunately, we have to wait for the second scrutineer, who is on its way. Unless can we delegate somebody else? What do you think, Mr. Chair? Well, can we ask Mr. Kobel to join too? So we have 2 lawyers observing. I think it should be safe enough. You agree? Now he gets a crash course in checking. So as soon as you're ready to prepare the vote for proposal number 1, secret vote. So here is the vote. I repeat, if you want to accept proposal number 1, you push 1 and valid, and it should show yes on your display. If you want to reject the proposal, you push 2 and valid, and it should show no on your display. If you want to abstain, you push 3 and valid, and it should show ABS on your display. Please open the vote. And I remind you, all these proposals need a 2/3 majority. Please check your display. It should show yes, no, or ABS. If it doesn't show this, please try again. Is there one missing? So everybody, please check your display. It should show yes, or it should show no, or it can show ABS. If it doesn't show any of these, okay, we close the vote. I think you had enough time, and we show the result. So the proposal has been rejected with 77 no, 38 yes, and 3 abstentions. Thank you. And again, no detail whatsoever is available who voted how. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very important decision. The first one today. And for sure it is also in favor of the good governance of the ISU. Then I move on to item number 2. Russia figure. This proposal was already accepted during the 21 vote by email. So this is done. Then I move on to proposal number 3 from the single and pair skating, ice dance and synchronized skating town committees. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. So proposal number 3 deals with Article 15, paragraph 5A1 to be amended as follows in order to ensure that for honorary awards, ISU technical specialists shall be treated and awarded in the same way as ISU referees and ISU technical controllers. The ISU Council is in favor for the reason given, but I give the possibility to the proposers, so Mr. Bianchetti, Mrs. Gordon-Polterak, or Mr. Metro, if you would like to add something.
No, hello. Really nothing to add, just to have the equal treatment for all the officials, because at the moment some officials can have some opportunities and some others, and so to have the equal treatment for everybody.
Thank you. Are there other interventions? If not, who is in favor should show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstain, white card. I think it's clearly accepted by obvious show of hands.
Thank you very much. Proposal 3 is accepted. Then we move on to proposal number 4, the ISU Council. Is drafting, I understand. Mr. Schmidt.
Yes, this is just to make the rules consistent. And there was a provision missing in this Article 16.2f, which was applied over the time and which was already in Rule 136, paragraph 8, namely to include the figure skating Olympic qualifying competition in this procedure. So it could be considered as drafting, but still we prefer to have a quick vote on this. Are there any comments? If not, those in favor, please show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstention, white card. So the proposal is accepted.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 5, proposal from the Speed Skating Technical Committee. Mr. Schmidt.
This is about Article 16, and it should be discussed with Proposal 29 and 34. And this is to include for the Olympic Winter Games and Winter Youth Olympic Games an ISU appointed ice technical expert and sport expert. The Council is in favor for the reasons given. Mr. Kibalko, would you like to add something? If not, no problem. So nothing to add. Are there other interventions, comments? Nobody? Those in favor, please show the green card. Those against, the red card. Abstention, white card. The proposal is accepted by obvious show of hands.
Thank you very much. Then we can move on to proposal number 6, the single and pair skating, ice dance and synchronized technical committee. Mr. Smits, proposal number 6.
This is about Article 20, paragraph 2b, and it also concerns proposal 15, 32, and 33. So when we get there, we have to remember what we decide now. It's to clarify for transparency that all coaches, regardless of being remunerated or not, are not eligible for election to the technical committees. The Council is in favor for the reasons given. Again, I asked a representative from the technical committees, either Mr. Bianchetti or anybody else you delegate from one of the 3 committees. Yes?
Györgyalak Ice Dance Technical Committee. And these proposals are just to enhance the transparency. It's not a big change in the rules.
But basically you say all coaches now are subject to this rule, and it doesn't matter whether they're remunerated
Exactly.
or not.
It's not about the legal nature. It's about the fact that they are coaches. We are ready to explain if someone has any questions.
Okay. Are there other questions, comments? If not, we vote. Those in favor show the green card. Against, red card. So there was one vote against. Abstentions. So the proposal has been accepted by obvious show of hands with 1 vote against.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to proposal number 7, Russia figure. This is withdrawn by Russia figure. So we can move on to proposal number 8. This is Canada figure, and at the same time we have here also urgent proposal number 1 from the Council.
Correct.
Mr. Smit.
Correct. Proposal number 1 of the Council and proposal number 8 from Canada figure deal with the same subject. So the proposal number 8 from Canada figure regarding Article 20, para 3, about the functions of the technical committees, is to minimize significant changes in the season leading up to and including the Olympic Winter Games. So the Council felt there is a legitimate concern brought forward by Skate Canada, but the Council had some concerns. And for the concern is that for rule changes or ISU communications, to avoid that the proposed changes are not only consistent with the ISU policy, not too costly and not consistent among ISU sport disciplines, but to avoid that such proposed changes are untimely or premature. Therefore, the Council made this counter-proposal according to urgent proposal number 1, which also specifies who is in charge of monitoring this. Because saying that certain proposals should not be accepted, there is no procedure or criteria who will then, first of all, detect such critical proposal or communications. It will be not clear who is really in charge to detect it and to decide upon it. So the urgent proposal number 1, which concerns Article 16, para 3, would solve this problem. It would put this task on the shoulders of the Vice President and give the ultimate decision to the Council. So the Vice President must monitor these technical rule proposals and must monitor communications And if there's a doubt, the Vice President must go to the Council and say, this is maybe a critical proposal, too close to the Olympic Games, we cannot make this change now. And then the Council can act upon this. So I first ask the representative from Canada, Skate Canada, to comment.
Skate Canada would like to withdraw proposal number 8 in favor of urgent proposal number 1.
Thank you very much. So we can now focus on proposal number 1 only. But again, thank you very much to Skate Canada, because this is a valid concern. We have, I would say, always getting closer to the Olympic Games. It's getting really critical, and I think it's a good initiative. Thank you. Are there other comments about now urgent proposal number 1? If this is not the case, then we vote. Those in favor show the green card. Against the red card. 1, 2, 2. I see 2 vote against. Abstentions? None. So the proposal is accepted by obvious show of hands with 2 votes against. Proposal number 1 is accepted. Urgent proposal number 1, sorry.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to proposal number 9 from the ISU Council. Mr. Schmidt.
The proposal number 9 is referring to Article 21, paragraph 2b, to ensure that the Speed Skating World Cup Championships will not be excluded as an occasion for voting for speed skating member of the Athletes Commission. So you know we have to do the Athletes Commission elections on the occasion of events, and depending on the calendar it can be complicated, so we want to keep the utmost flexibility. I think it's a very practical provision to maintain the utmost flexibility. I don't know whether the Athletes Commission has something to add. No. Other comments? Then we vote. Those in favor show the green card. Against, red card. Abstention, white card. The proposal is accepted by obvious show of hand.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to the last item, last proposal regarding the Constitution. Proposal number 10, Russia figure. Mr. Schmidt.
So this proposal concerns Article 24, paragraph 1, to have a balance in the ISU Development Commission between 2 ISU branches by adding 1 member and allowing an equal share for each branch. I have to say there is no budget was presented. The ISU Council recommendation says that the Council would consider a revised wording, namely up to 4 members, because besides the number of members by branch, the choice of the coordinator and his or her branch must also be taken into account. Finally, past experience has shown that a commission with more members loses in efficiency, especially for timely decision-making. Mr. Sviridov.
We agree with the wording proposed by the Council, up to 4.
So, first vote, do you agree with the proposed amendment by the Council and accepted by the proposer, the Russian Figure Skating Federation? So the proposed the amendment is accepted, and now we vote on the amended proposal. Those in favor show the green card. Against, the red card. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2 against. Abstention. So the proposal is accepted by obvious show of hands with 2 votes against.
Thank you very much. Then we have done the proposals for the Constitution. I don't know whether the coffee would be ready, Becky? Okay, because before moving to the general delegations, maybe Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, then we move on to the general regulations. So we have to wait a bit for the coffee. Proposal number 11 from the ISU Council. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. This proposal number 11 deals with rule number 100, paragraph 3b, to make the figure skating Olympic qualifying competition an ISU event with a capital E, allowing full ISU control and avoid experienced challenges by using an existing international competition. As you know, the Olympic qualifying event in figure skating was mostly the Oberstdorf event, the Nebelhorn Trophy. And there were participants who had to qualify for the Olympics, but there were also other participants. And it had created quite a few challenges on how to regulate the entries, regulate the cost. So it was not easy. Luckily, we always found some kind of understanding with the German Federation, and we are very thankful they made their event available for this. But the Council came to the conclusion it would be more straightforward if this really becomes an ISU event, so the ISU can allot this event like a championship, including certain financial conditions and clear entry conditions, which obviously would be reserved only to skaters who have to qualify for the Olympic Games. So it's a very, I would nearly say, housekeeping to make it a cleaner competition and not have this mixture of normal competition and Olympic qualifying competition. Are there any interventions, comments, questions? If not, we vote. Those in favor show the green card. Against, red card. 1, 2. Only 2. Abstain. 1 abstain and 2 against. So the proposal is accepted by obvious show of hand with 2 votes against and 1 abstention.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to proposal number 12 from Finland to be discussed together with proposal number 13 from the Synchronized Technical Committee. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. I think we can decide those 2 proposals together. So it's obviously that we haven't used anymore the ISU Synchronized Skating Junior World Challenge Cup because there is a World Junior Championship now. So this event has been obsolete. It was kept in the regulation for just in case, but I think experience has shown there is no more need. But please, you have the floor.
Yes, Ida Hellström from Finland Figures. So we would like to withdraw our proposal in favor of the technical committee's proposal.
Okay, thank you very much. So we vote on proposal 13. Are there other comments before we vote? If not, those in favor, please show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstention. The proposal is accepted by obvious show of hands. And proposal 12 is withdrawn.
Then we move on to proposal number 14 from the Synchronized Technical Committee. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. I think this proposal should be also considered when we discuss proposal 20, and when in the section of figure skating you propose you discuss urgent proposal 4. Please remember what is decided now, because there are certain interconnections. So it concerns Rule 100, paragraph 3c. To elevate the ISU Challenger Series in synchronized skating to the status of an ISU event. By doing so, the Synchronized Skating Tank Committee would have more influence, according to Article 16.2f, in the appointment of the officials, which might help synchronized skating officials to gain the needed activity. Now, the recommendation of the Council is not in favor of this proposal and prefers to maintain those Challenger Series events, not only synchronized but also in figures single and pair skating and ice dance, as international competitions with all rights namely domestic and international media rights, as well as advertising rights, remaining with the organizing ISU member. By becoming ISU events, the international media rights would belong to ISU. However, the Council supports a continued involvement in form of financial assistance, subject to some basic conditions or requirements to be published in an annual ISU communication. As to the reference to help synchronize skating officials, this should not be achieved through a change of a rule in the general regulations with another purpose than officials' appointment, but the ISU Council is in favor of urgent proposal 4, which will be voted in the special section. Please, you have the floor as proposer.
Thank you. Uliana Chirkova, Synchronized Skating Technical Committee. First of all, I would like to say that proposal number 14 should not be discussed together.
Please go closer to the mic. Thank you.
This is okay? Okay. Proposal number 14 should not be discussed together with proposal number 20 because proposal number 14 is about recognition of the Challenger Series Synchronized Skating as an ISU event. And proposal number 20 is about adding a new paragraph in the Rule 107 of the Constitution, page 105, with a definition that the Challenger Series in the synchronized skating is. At the moment, paragraph 6 of the Rule 107 contains the general definition of the Challenger Series, and we need a separate definition because the reason is that synchronized skating Challenger Series is a linked series for 2 categories, seniors and juniors, and for other disciplines, it's only senior. In case proposal number 14 will not pass, we would like to amend proposal number 20 to delete ISU abbreviation, but to leave the proposed new paragraph with the definition of the Challenger Series for synchronized skating, to have a separate definition. And coming back to proposal number 14, we understand that the Council doesn't support that proposal, but we want to share with you our reasons. First of all, we would like to clear that synchronized skating Challenger Series is already financially supported by the ISU, and this support is stated in the communication 2458. The Challenger Series in synchronized skating is a linked series which results in a final ranking at the completion of 5 events. The top 3 teams of juniors and seniors each receive prize money. So our proposal is not a matter of financial support, but is a matter of providing more visibility and awareness that is so much needed for our discipline. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we go further, so proposal number 20, you propose to delete the word ISU, but to make sure that the description stays there in the rules, which I think could be considered. But first we have to focus on 14. And again, I think the key is not to have an inflation of ISU events, which implies a lot of questions about rights, and which becomes another ball game than just ISU helping for certain competition. It becomes competition owned by the ISU. So it's a major change, and the Council didn't see enough reasons to make such change. The Council fully supports the Challenger Series, and it was invented by the Council to help this category of skaters, and it will remain, that is no doubt. And also in the urgent proposal number 4, the Council supports this because it helps a little bit to regulate the officials' appointments. But to make this a ISU event, I think it would be, the Council think it would be too extreme of a change. And then, why synchronized skating and why not single and pair skating? It wouldn't make sense. So. Are there other interventions? Then we have to vote. So if we come back to the proposal 20 with the proposed amendments, but now we vote on proposal 14. If you're in favor, show the green card. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you're against, show the red card. Well, since a two-thirds majority is needed, I think it's clearly not accepted, but still also abstentions, please. 1, 2, there are 2 abstentions, 3 abstentions, but it's clearly not a two-thirds majority, so the proposal is rejected. Maybe since we talked about it, we can deal with proposal number 20. So the proposal from the Synchronized Scaling Time Committee is to delete at the title 7, ISU is deleted, so it reads 7 challenge series in synchronized skating. Now, okay, strictly according to the rule provision, this should have been presented in writing, but I think it's so minor, we can be lenient here. Unless I'm missing something, I think this could be accepted. I'm looking at the council members. If somebody has a doubt, please jump in. Other comments? So we have an amended proposal number 20. The small amendment is that the word ISU at the title is deleted. Are there other comments? If not, so we vote on proposal number 20 as amended. Those in favor, please show the green card. Those against, the red card. 1. Abstentions. So the proposal has been accepted as amended with 1 vote against by obvious show of hands.
Thank you very much. Then I think we deserve a coffee break
if
at this
ready.
moment. A coffee break for half an hour.
It's ready.
We continue the agenda, the general regulations, and we are now moving on to item number 15. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 15, Single and Pair Skating Ice Dance and Synchronized Skating Technical Committee regarding Rule 102, Paragraph 4b. We discussed already Proposal 6, which has exactly the same meaning, and you accept it. So I think, by analogy, we must accept also this proposal number 15, unless there are any comments, but I think we have no other choice. So those in favor, please show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstention, white card. The proposal is accepted.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 16. Russia figure. Mr. Schmidt.
Well, here we go into the area of trademarks on the uniforms. We have 3 proposals. Number 16 about figure skating, then we have 17 and 18 about speed skating. Now, one issue is that we more or less, within the reasonable limits, have consistent rules, that not one branch is exaggerated and the others have less possibilities. And especially for proposal 18 from the Netherlands, when we discuss this, I understand there is some need for clarification. So if needed, we might defer the decision of those 3 proposals to Friday. Because if some amendments or something will be needed in one of them, it's better to do it in writing, so we avoid any kind of confusion and have a problem for 2 years later. Because this is a critical area. You want to know which trademarks are allowed and which are not allowed, and any gray zone can really complicate our life. But we start to discuss one by one with the provision that we decide only at the end for all the 3, and if necessary, we decide only on Friday. I hope you can agree to this procedure. So, proposal number 16 about Rule 102, Para 6 is to increase the number of allowed advertising marks from 4 to 6 of 60 square centimeters each, i.e. the total increasing from 240 to 360 square centimeters. And as I said, this could also concern the proposals 17 and 18 for consistency with speed skating. Now the Council recommendation is not in favor because the Council considers the current rule as just and fair towards everybody. So if the Council feels that the currently allowed trademarks for figure skating are adequate and dignified, and the proposal would mean too much. But anyway, Russia figure skating, please, you have the floor. Mr. Sviridov.
Well, I think the explanatory note is pretty clear, that it's just the possibility for the skaters to make some money, considering that the prize money is not increasing or is not big enough. So, and not all of them, far from all of them, get this prize money. So it's not the obligation to have it, it's the right. And it's only on those jackets or whatever which they use in, I don't know, kiss and cry and training areas, definitely not the competition. So the main reason is just to give the possibility, not the obligation again, the possibilities for the skaters to make some more money. That's it.
Thank you. Are there other comments on this proposal? Yes. Should be on now. Yes.
Hello, this is Miki from Japan, and on behalf of the Japan Skating Federation, we support this idea because it gives opportunities for more income for skaters. All skaters need financing to develop, and we're in a very crunch situation in terms of financial stability. Therefore, we support the opportunity we could give to the skaters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other comments? There are no other comments, so like I said before, we keep this on hold. The decision will be taken together with proposal 17 and 18. But we have noted the input of the Russian and Japanese delegates. Then we come to proposal number 17 from Hungary. Also Rule 102, but paragraph 6b, in speed skating to increase the allowed size of the total maximum size advertising marks from 650 square centimeters to 700 square centimeters, and for the cap from 30 square centimeters to 80 square centimeters. In addition, an advertising mark of 80 square centimeters is proposed to be accepted also on helmets, which is also proposed by the KNSB as per proposal 18. Now again, I give the opportunity to the Hungarian National Skating Federation to comment on this, please.
Thank you, Orsolya Váradi from Hungarian Federation.
Please go close to the microphone.
The reasoning is basically the same as the previous speakers explained, and the short track helmet and the speed skating cap is just a perfect surface for skaters, so we would like to propose to accept this proposal.
Thank you. I didn't mention the Council recommendation, which is not in favor, because it considers the current rule as just and fair towards everybody concerned. The current authorized surface area of 30 square centimeters on cap or helmet is consistent with the other authorized surface areas on the upper and lower body. Increasing the surface area to 80 on the cap or helmet would create an unbalanced display. This is the Council recommendation, but we have other comments. Yeah, from the short track TC.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Dear delegate, I would just, for clarification, want to point out that I believe with the proposal 18 from the KNSB, a part of it should have been written and ratified, and it's the part relating to short track. So basically now short track with the new proposal is completely erased, which means that the front part no longer belongs to the ISU. So I just want to make sure that this is noted.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. When we get to proposal 18, that's exactly what I meant before, that there might be some need for clarification, and that's exactly that. So but time being, are there other comments on 17? So then again, we keep this on hold for a joint decision among 16, 17, and 18, and we move to 18 from the KNSB, eligibility Rule 102, paragraph 6b, to allow trademarks at the front of the helmet in speed skating team competitions. team pursuit and team sprint, where the helmet replaces the cap for safety reasons. In order to have consistency in headgear trademarks on racing suits, warm-up suits, and helmets, in addition to exclude helmet covers in short track as exclusive domain of the ISU. Now, the Council recommendation, in case of relevant ISU sponsorship, the front part of the helmet is for the ISU. However, if there is no such ISU sponsorship, the Council is in favor to release one advertising marking on the front part of the helmet for use of the ISU member in team pursuit and team sprint competition. In speed skating, in order to remain consistent with the authorized marking on the cap for individual distances in speed skating. However, the Council is not in favor of the other proposed changes. Now, KNSB, would you like to comment? I'm sure, especially referring to what Ms. Lambert also mentioned.
Good morning, Jeroen Kraai, KNSB Netherlands. I think we're talking actually about two different topics.
Please go closer to the mic.
Yeah, talking about two topics. If you refer to long track, in the current rules it states that on the cap, on the racing suit and on the off-ice gear, the logo is for the federation sponsors. For safety reasons, we're wearing a helmet during team pursuit and team sprint. We think it makes total sense that at that point, the logo should be allowed to the federation as it is allowed to be on a racing cap. And just for safety reasons, we're wearing a helmet, and we feel that that logo should be for the federation. There's a difference in short track. Ideally, we feel the same way for short track, but the rules at this point differ, we feel. So ideally, we think that the front part of the logo of the helmet in short track should be for the federation as well, but actually they're two different topics.
So would you agree with Ms. Lombert's comment that there is a need for better clarification of this distinction between speed and short track?
I agree.
That's exactly why we felt there might be need for a slightly revised wording. And since it's always dangerous to do this on the floor, and in accordance with this new Article 31.7, where amendments should be in writing, we might defer this to the Friday session so we can vote on exactly the wording we want to have in the book.
Yeah.
Would you agree to
Sounds
this
good.
procedure? But
yes.
You agree? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Please.
Susan Sandvik, Shobe, US Speed. We're in agreement with the Netherlands that we'd like it to be consistent from whether they have a hood on or a helmet, but I'm wondering if we can add mass start because they wear a helmet in the mass start also.
Sorry, whether we can add what?
Mass start, because they wear a helmet in the mass start also.
Okay. Now, Mr. Espeli.
Yes, dear delegates, maybe it's not so clear from the documents, but the Council is in support of the principle that KNSB has presented in its proposal. The problem with the wording of the KNSB proposal was, as indicated by Nathalie Lambert, that it somehow affected the current rule of short track, probably unintentionally. So therefore, as Freddie Schmid just said, we would like to look at a consistent wording of the 1026, also maybe taking into account the intervention from USA. Regarding the Hungarian proposal, the Council comment was about the balance of opening or widening the advertising area on the helmet in short track, since it has a different also historical background in short track than in speed skating, where the helmets just came in for a safety measure at the late point in time, where there already was a regulation on advertising on the hood. So I'd like to invite the proposers to look at the wordings of their proposals and see if we can come back with a consensus proposal on the Friday session.
Okay, I think both 16, 17, and 18
There's
become...
there's one more.
Oh, sorry.
Christian Breuer, Germany Speed. Besides the wording at the end on Friday, Germany Speed is supporting the basic principle of the Netherlands proposal for two reasons. First off, it's like the logic consequence. If you take off your cap, you put on a helmet, so you need a sponsor logo on there. And the second reason is actually, to me, that it's like a little bit irritating, the reasoning of the council. Because in all the years that I know, there was no logo or like a sponsorship logo on individual racing suits of skaters of an ISU logo, of an ISU sponsor. So pretty much it looks like there's a logo taken away, a trademark or like a logo, from the members. And most of the members in speed skating, they are pretty much based on funding, like funding systems of their government, or sponsors. And the sponsor gives them the flexibility. So Germany Speed wants a clear answer of the council if there's any indication that you want to take away a logo spot of the members to replace it by a logo on the helmet by an ISU logo of a sponsor of the ISU. Thanks.
Well, yes. Mr.
Andrea
Jones.
Joss, Italian Federation. We support 100% the proposal, and we ask to put more space for logo, both in speed skating and short track, because we have to give the federation and the athletes the opportunity to find more money, to raise money, to compete, to have much better level of competition. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other interventions? So, no, there, Mr. Kibalko.
If I may, we are in a joint agreement, I believe, with the council as well, that we are not against the proposal of the Netherlands, and now I see other Italian and German proposals. We just want to be consistent with short track, and we are ready to release, actually, we are not, the current rule is covering both short track and speed. And the simple solution is because now it's stated the front part, not the placement of any markings on the front part of the helmets are not allowed. We simply say they may be taken by ISU at the Olympic Winter Games and ISU events in case of the general sponsorship, in case of the Olympic Winter Games, we place Olympic rings here and there are no commercial markings anyway, right? And in short track, we had several years Audi sponsor where we placed stickers on the helmets. Right, Hugo? Yes. So we are in favor of your proposal, but with a small amendment that it may be taken by ISU in case of general sponsorship, right?
Okay, but again, excuse me, please. I think this proves that trying to draft on the floor is very dangerous because at the end of the day, you don't know what you decided. So we have the proposers, which means Hungary, the Netherlands, and for figure skating, we have Russia figure, who were involved, and we have the vice president, I think both vice presidents, and both chairs and the chairs of the technical committees should be involved in finding a common wording for those proposals. It's especially in speed skating. In figure skating, I think it's clear. So it really concerns speed skating and short track. So if the proposers, Hungary and Netherlands, together with Vice President Espeli and the TC chairs, can sit together and by Friday come with a proposal which then is clear for everybody, and then we can vote. Doesn't mean it's accepted, it just is clear. And then we vote on the three proposals together, one after the other, let's say. Can you agree with this, Mr. Chair? Please.
Mr. Schmidt, just one remark again. Maybe on Friday we can get an answer to my question if there will be an extra logo spot for like an ISU sponsor, or if you actually want to, in that case of a relevant sponsorship, take away one of the logos of the members. Yeah?
This group will consider this.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I think we come back to this all three proposals after the branch meeting, because it's important to know exactly what we decide about in writing. As you know, the devil is in the details. So after the branch meeting, the Congress is, the plenary session is deciding, not the branch meeting. This is important to note. So we come back on Friday after the branch meeting, and then the Congress is deciding both regarding 16, 17, and 18. Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 19, proposal from Ireland. Mr. Schmidt.
Proposal number 19 from Ireland regarding Rule 104, paragraph 13, is to suspend the ISU members' obligation to provide to the ISU at the end of the season with the detailed results of the ISU member skaters. Now the Council says the rule was necessary in a pre-internet and this is the reason, sorry. The Council recommendation. The Council agrees that the announcement by ISU members of this data and the publication of this communication is obsolete, and that this communication shall be discontinued. The proposal still requires the ISU members to notify the ISU about this type of statistics. In line with the rationale of the proposal, the ISU Council would agree to replace the rule by the following wording. Quote, each ISU member shall publish on its website the most critical results of the ISU member skaters. The minimum information shall include the results of the national championships and for speed skating the 5 best times set up on standard tracks by speed skaters of the ISU member over the distances of 500, 1,000, 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000 meters for men and 500, 1,000, 1,500, 3,000 and 5,000 meters for women. So basically the Council agrees that this is an obsolete rule and a communication which is not really needed anymore, but proposes a practical solution so that this data, if somebody looks for it, can be found on the websites of each member. I give the floor to Ireland. Vice President Mando.
Ireland is in favour of the Council's recommendation for that change.
So you support the amendment?
Absolutely.
Are there other comments? So first, can you accept the amendment? So please show the green card. We're talking only about the amendment, according to the Council proposal. Against? Abstain? So the amendment is accepted. So now we vote on the proposal as amended according to the Council wording. Those in favor show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstain, white. The proposal is accepted by obvious show of hands.
Thank you very much. Then we have, before moving on to proposal 21, we have the urgent proposal number 2. The urgent proposal number 2 from the Council regarding Rule 104, 17, other protective measures. Mr. Schmidt.
So, urgent proposal number 2, Rule 104, new paragraph 17. And renumber the following paragraph to establish a permanent, I think it's important, a permanent procedure allowing the Council to take protective measures in case of occurrence of events or circumstances of an exceptional nature which are outside of the ISU's control. You will remember that when you approved the continued validity of the communication 2469, which was unanimously accepted, this wording is already temporarily in force and remains in force until revoked by the Council or the next Congress. However, this proposal now is here to put this provision permanently into the rule book. So we didn't have, luckily, this situation of the war in Ukraine for basically ever. So we didn't have such provision, but similar situation can occur in the future. And then there should be a more specific provision which guides the Council what it can do or not do for exceptional measures under these circumstances. Maybe before, do the legal advisor want to add something, or not necessary?
I think it is a general one which you should read. I kindly ask you, apart from the Ukrainian armed conflict or the armed conflict in the Ukraine, you should read it in general, because it is also a clause which does not only refer to a case of armed conflicts in general, but refers to pandemic situations, refers to, you can say, any kind of disaster, and includes this. It makes it, of course, difficult for the Council to evaluate when such a situation is being given, but it helps to avoid legal discussions and court cases. And this is the reason why the legal advisors advised the Council to propose to the Congress to have it permanently included into the rule book.
Thank you, Mr. Geislinger. Are there other comments, questions? Nobody? Those in favor, please show the green card. Oh, sorry, there was somebody? Please go to the microphone. Mr. Chait from Israel.
Thank you. I was reading this proposal quite a few times, and what I think we're opening here very, very dangerous way, or a can of worms, no matter how we're going to say it, for collective punishment. And by listening yesterday to the legal advisors, they also recognize this for a different matter. And if there is a federation or person who are supporting those events, like we call it, those bad events, they have to be dealt swift and they have to be dealt strong. But to have accountable every federation for whatever happens, it's not a good way to deal with it. And how the Council will know what's going on from the media, and to make the decisions based on the media coverage, that's also not the way to go. So I think it needs to be a little bit worked on and thought through how to do it, because to put this into law, we're opening up the ISU deciding the political conflicts. And I think it's not a good way to do it and a dangerous way to do it. And the last remark, where you wrote that it's an exceptional development. This is not exceptional development. This is the most terrible event since the Second War. So we understand this. And I think that it has to be voted electronically also, because this is a very important matter. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. There's another intervention.
Good afternoon. My name is Akaisha from Kazakhstan. So I would like to make a proposal from our federation to make discussion and vote separately for all these 4 issues in this communication. Thank you.
Well, we're not talking about the communication. We're talking
But
about...
yes, about urgent matters for 4 issues.
There is no different... We vote on this proposal number, urgent matter number 2, not on the communication.
I'm sorry for these circumstances, but yes, I mean to vote it separately, not all together.
But separately, there's
Yes.
one proposal. There's no... You cannot split a proposal in.
Maybe
The communication was already accepted.
From my side, yes. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Chair, there's no other comments? There was a request that we vote electronically. What do you think? There was a request from Mr. Chait to vote with an electronic vote before, please.
Vladimir Kezunovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Since this is a sensitive matter, I recommend we vote secretly, as before.
Sorry, please speak louder.
Since this is a sensitive matter, I recommend we vote secretly, as before.
Okay, so since in any case it's a request for a secret vote, we have to check if 10% agree to vote in a secret manner. Please, those in favor of a secret vote. Yeah, clearly more than 10%.
So in order to avoid misunderstanding, this is the urgent proposal number 2 we are voting. Urgent proposal number 2 from the Council.
Is everything ready on the scrutineer side? So, we are talking about urgent proposal number 2. We are not talking about anything else. So what's in the agenda, urgent proposal number 2? If you're in favor of this, you push 1 and valid, and it should show yes on your display. If you're against, you push 2, and it should display no. If you want to abstain, you push 3 and valid, and it should show ABS. So please vote now. Please check your display. It should show yes, no, or ABS. If it doesn't show any of those, apparently there are 2 missing, so please check your displays. It should show yes or no or ABS. Well, I think you had enough time to vote, so let's close the vote. No. So even though it is a majority, it's not a 2/3 because it was not reached 77. So the proposal is rejected. But I remind you that you accepted communication 2469, which until further notice remains in force. Until further notice means until the Council decides to revoke it, or if the 24 Congress again will have to decide whether this communication will have continued validity. So I hope this is clear. So we don't have a permanent rule for this, but the communication 2469 has been accepted unanimously this morning and remains in force.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 21. Proposal number 20 is done already. Then we move on to proposal number 21, New Zealand. Mr. Schmidt.
Proposal number 21 regarding Rule 107, paragraph 14b, is to limit the restrictions applying to interclub competitions. Now, this is a pretty tricky issue. The Council agreed to limit the provision for no impact of interclub competition on ISU events, the Olympic Winter Games and Winter Youth Olympic Games only, and therefore proposes the provisions to read as follows, quote, interclub competitions must be conducted under the exclusive authority of the organizing club, and their significance must be limited to the club sphere. The results of interclub competitions shall not serve as qualifying criteria and/or obtaining minimum total element scores, world standing, ranking points, and/or qualifying times for participation in ISU events, the Olympic Winter Games, and the Winter Youth Olympic Games. So it hopefully clarifies, this amendment would clarify exactly some limitations, but I give the floor to New Zealand.
Jeanette King from New Zealand. Thank you very much. We're very happy with what the ISU has proposed in that wording. Just a couple of minor spelling corrections required. Thank you.
A couple of minor
spelling corrections. So world standings and ranking need minor corrections to the
yes,
spelling.
there's an N missing and an I missing.
Yeah.
I probably wrote this when I had a glass of wine too much, I don't know. Thank you very much. I think this is not an amendment for which we need to reconvene. So, do you agree to the amendment as proposed by the Council and supported by New Zealand as proposer? Show the green card. So, those who wouldn't accept the amendment, the red card, abstention, white card. So the amendment is accepted. Now we vote on the proposal number 21 as amended. Those in favor, please show the green card. Those against, the red card. Abstention, white card. So the amended proposal is accepted by obvious show of hand.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to another very important proposal, number 22, from the ISU Council to be discussed together with proposal 23 from Norway. Mr. Schmidt.
Freddie, sorry, Sergio, there was one abstain in the precedent.
There was one abstained in the previous vote?
Yes.
Okay. Please scrutinize us, or back here, Secretary, please take note. In the previous vote was one abstention, which we didn't see. Thank you, Sergio.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, proposal number 22, and as the chair mentioned correctly, it has to be dealt with proposal number 23 from Norway. So we do this together. Let me first comment on proposal number 22 from the Council. Is to gradually increase the minimum age for senior competitions from 15 to 17. The proposal number 23 from Norway goes into a similar direction, but proposes a direct increase from 15 to 17 for figure skating and speed skating branch, and from 15 to... Can you hear me? And ice dance. So one of the first jobs we have will be to decide on which proposal to focus. But I think on the merit we can have a common debate. And you have the very detailed reasons from the ISU Council, who relied on input from different parties. Firstly, from the Medical Commission, then from the Athletes Commission. They also got the input from the legal advisors. So I think it would be probably beneficial if first we ask Dr. Moran not to repeat all the reasons which are here in detail, but maybe try to emphasize on the most important aspects from the medical point of view.
Thank you very much. This proposal is fully supported by the Medical Commission. The reasoning is outlined very clearly, and I hope that you've all had an opportunity to read that reasoning. I feel that as administrators of the sport of skating, that is your moral obligation and duty to provide these young skaters with the opportunity and time to develop not only physiologically, but also psychologically the skills they require in order to be successful at the senior level. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moran, and I repeat, the detailed explanations of her report are in the proposal, so I think this is really important to read carefully, or hopefully you all have done so. Now, the Athletes Commission was very active in examining this issue too, and I think they made a study and a survey, so I asked a representative from the Athletes Commission to comment on this.
Eric Radford of the Athletes Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, as the newly appointed chair of the Athletes Commission, I would like to share the Commission's perspective on the age limit proposal. The Athletes Commission was asked to conduct a survey to gain a broader perspective from athletes and coaches on how they felt about an increase in age to 17 for senior level competition. We conducted a survey with athletes and coaches of federations around the world and saw it was clear that the majority felt an increase of the minimum age for senior competition was not only desired but needed. There were 966 responses from 48 different ISU members. 48.1% were skaters, 25.5% were coaches, and 26.4% were other. Of all of those, 86.2% of respondents agreed to raise the age limit to 17 in senior level competition. The most common responses in favor of the amendment were injury prevention, healthy physical and mental development of skaters, longer careers for top skaters, ethical and sustainable coaching methods, maintaining the interest of fans, sponsors, and media, and the general image of the sport of figure skating. Beyond this survey, there is extensive medical proof and reasoning conducted by Dr. Jane Moran in the ISU's Medical Commission supporting this decision of increasing the minimum age. An athlete's competitive experience and daily training experience will have a profound influence on the rest of their lives. And this is why safeguarding children and young athletes within our sport must remain one of our top priorities. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, and I think the coordinator of the Development Commission also has some input.
Yeah, Susanna Rahkamo, coordinator of Development Commission. The Development Commission totally agrees with the Medical Commission and with the Athletes Commission and supports raising of the age limit.
Thank you very much. Now I think it's time also to give the floor to the second proposal, which is Norway, to comment before we open the floor to other interventions. So Norway, please.
Mona Adolfsen, Norwegian Skating Federation. So, first of all, we are very happy that the Council have put forward this similar proposal to ours, and that they see the importance of adjust the minimum age of senior skaters. So the main reason is to protect the skaters and give them a longer career. And we have now 15 years, which is the minimum age, and it's also the youngest one of all winter sports. We have seen that a lot of the skaters, especially in figure skating, they have a short career. And since 1994, 5 different Olympic champions for women has been, where they have been 15, 16, and 17 years old. They have not been able to, or they have not been following up the seasons with the World Championships. So it doesn't only occur to the top skaters, but also push the several of the junior skaters to become senior skaters at an earlier state than necessary. There is an immense pressure put on the skaters on the top senior level. And to put the senior level at 15 years old does not seem to motivate skaters to having a long career. And we really have to put forward more interest of our sport and to keep them longer in our sport. So we strongly recommend to take into consideration the reasoning of the proposal of the Council, as well as ours, and where also the Medical Commission have been consulted, and not at least the speech of the athlete representative Eric Radford. Our branch needs profiled athletes that can promote our sport in a long period of time. So, the conclusion. We, Norway, will withdraw our proposal in favor of the proposal of the Council, but we please ask all the delegates to support this proposal of the Council in this very, very important matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Norway withdraws in favor of the Council proposal, with the difference being mainly that the Council proposes a gradual increase, while Norway would have been directly going to 17. But now we only focus on the proposal from the Council. Now we open the door, not yet, the floor. We open the floor to other comments. Mr. Sviridov.
We actually think that what Norway was proposing, because it's united, that to keep the skaters' careers longer, is really attractive, and this is what needs to be done. But in age increase, it's a method to achieve some goal. And we should set up the goals for these methods. As the goal, as I said, stated by Norway, it's a good idea to keep the skaters longer. And as they said, that 4 or whatever Olympic champions in ladies retired at different ages as soon as they reached this top title. But if we look deeper, we shall see that these are not only ladies, but except for certain exceptions, most of the disciplines, pairs, dance, and men, also retired. Some of them returned, but some of them stayed, like Yudzo Ruhanyu. But most of them retire as soon as they become Olympic champions. What is the reason for that? And the reason is not only that as soon as they get this title, they have, fortunately for them, but unfortunately for the federations maybe, who want to keep them, open commercial opportunities. And sometimes during these shows, when they get this title, in different shows, with skating or without skating, they will get much more money. They will they will get even during the whole competitive season in prize money or whatever. So we live in the material world, and the commercial side unfortunately dominates. This is one of the reasons which makes the skaters leave the amateur career. So that to keep them longer, we need to think about the motivation for them to stay. And so we need to find the real, if you want to cure the disease, we need to find the real diagnosis. This age increase, yeah, it's maybe important, but it will not solve the problem as stated in this proposal. Some of our skaters who resigned at early age, so after that they make money, they enter the university, they have normal life with their, well, not kids or whatever, teenagers of their age group. This is what they do not have while they train. And when the Olympic champions, for example, stay, They train hard, they may get prize money, may not get prize money, and may get injured, everything will stop. And here, the money is on the table. Besides, some of them who are close to that, but not necessarily on the very top, they need support of the parents. But at the age of, let's say, 17, 18, the parents invest money. Some of the parents will think, should I be investing money into my child's skating, or should I pay for the university? So that the skater at the age of 20, 25, 23, or whatever, gets out of skating sooner or later with a profession, education, with a more or less probably settled personal life. And this is what probably they will not get if they continue to train. So what I mean to say that we should really, if we really want to keep the skaters longer, we should also think about other opportunities, how to offer them the possibility to make money to provide their living and training. They cannot rely on the investments, financial investments from their parents until, well, the age of 23, 24. As for the medical side, yes, this also may have effect on them, but at the same time, when a skater at the age of 23 leaves skating and, well, quits sports without any profession, without any education, this also has some big moral impact on the skater. And this is what happened with one of the pair skaters who was Russian and Australian. Then when she was told that she cannot skate anymore and she didn't know what to do, and this is lead to the tragic consequence. So what we suggest we need to think, if again the reasons are these, is that first of all, that we should think about the opportunity, what we can offer to the skaters to make money. Tele shows, tours under the ISU, which existed before, but now they do not exist. We cannot just use them.
Excuse me, Mr. Sviridov, I think you're way over 3 minutes
I'm
and
finishing.
a little bit deviating from the
I'm
subject.
finishing. And as for the medical part, I think a lot of this depends on the experience of the coaches. Many injuries, as our practice shows, I agree with the medical part, but we should also think about the experience of the coaches. This is where the most injuries come.
Thank you. I think next speaker, please.
Hello, I'm Ida Hellström from Finland Figure, and I was a member of the ISU Athletes Commission until April this year, and I was very much involved in making of the survey which Eric just presented, and I have to say that the results of the survey were overwhelming. The feedback that we received, both through the survey, but also through other channels from skaters, coaches, officials, other stakeholders, was very clear. They all stated that for the future of our sport, it is our duty to protect these young athletes, to enable longer careers for them. And I fully support everything that the Athletes Commission representative already said, and also what the Medical Commission just presented. And therefore, we think that this is a proposal that just needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have next speaker over there, please. Yes, please.
Me? Yeah.
Yes.
Evelyn Rosuki, Austria. Well,
Please go close to the mic.
Yes. Well, I know that everybody is going, and everybody understands that the age needs to be increased, and our amendment to the council proposal to reflect a recommendation.
Please go close to the mic,
Would
please.
be in year one, as we said, it will stay the 15, the next year the 16, and then maybe we should get some more information and more data, and then we could still decide the 17 at the next Congress. The problem that could come up is the pair skating, and we must remember the hurdles that are working against the pair discipline which may affect especially the small countries that don't have that many skaters, to have eligible skaters.
Please go close to the mic, sorry.
and teams that can take part. The same with the single skaters. But some small countries maybe have 1 or 2 skaters, and especially in pairs, I would think that we should reconsider what to do with the pair skating age. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I give the floor back to Dr. Moran, is there somebody else? Yes.
Troy Goldstein, USA. We're fully in support of the amendment that was just presented and the council's proposal to raise the age over time. However, we would look for a step up of the age requirements to 16, and then, as mentioned, wait for 17, maybe post-Olympic Games. Making a change of 2 years, as originally proposed, in such short order will have significant consequences. Prior to the Olympic Games, it would impact skater development, as well as have a result on retention of our skaters across the board. Now, as a 2-time Olympic paratechnical specialist, I have seen the results of the efforts made by the Singles and Pairs Technical Committee, the sports director, and the Development Commission as it relates to the camps that were put together and the visibility opportunities for pair skating directly. Now, this would shift back. We've seen many new countries enter our sport and our discipline. Look at the last few World Championships and Olympic Games with smaller countries being present. This is a direct result of those efforts. This would roll back those efforts. And seriously, please consider postponing the 16 absolutely, postponing the 17 till post-Olympic Games. Thank you.
I think Mr. Delic was next, and then we come to you.
Slobodan Delic from Serbian Skating Association, and I'm very glad that Troy has brought back the age of 16 at least, because historically in 1996 this was exactly changed to accommodate in a way the athlete from the United States who would participate and eventually become the Olympic champion in Nagano 1998. At that time, I had a comment, although much younger at that time, to Maureen Stilwell, and I said, you will probably be surprised, but this will not pay off as the historical pattern in which the ISU will be going. And true, we had, as the previous speakers mentioned, the Olympic champions at the age of 15, 16, 17, yet these athletes were not really fully engaged with the sport eventually after winning the Olympic gold medals. What does it mean? It means that the social development of these young athletes was stopped at the age that was not even the adult age in their countries of origin. They were not fully engaged with the proper school development. They had probably been supported by their parents, as another speaker has mentioned, through the argument to keep back the age. But the balance is really to provide development of those young athletes, skaters, to be able to continue their career beyond such a young age. And I believe that the Norwegian proposal was very balanced, unfortunately withdrawn, and that if we can agree that at least 16 years of age is something that we are returning some decades back and start from there and look after the changes eventually maybe in the period after the Olympic Games in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, lady.
Galice Marachi, Israel. We are in favor of the proposal, but as a coach and leader of skaters from a small country, we struggle with having skaters that are eligible and at a level of quality to compete and represent our country. The ISU president spoke about how important it is to continue to expand our disciplines across new countries and not end up only top countries with skater pipelines. We are in support of the move to 16 on the schedule that is proposed. However, Moving higher adds additional hurdles and burdens that we may not be able to continue to deliver skaters and be represented. Therefore, we would ask to make the change to 16 and give us time to adapt and review the impact before any changes are considered, since this affects pairs and dance mostly. Thank you.
Thank you. Now who was getting up first, please.
Herman de Haan, KNSB. We strongly support the proposal from the Council. In fact, we would have supported the proposal from Norway. I don't think that we should go back to 16 years of age. It's 17 what it should be. There are plenty examples of sports where careers are very long, and I don't think you should. We don't take ourselves seriously if we neglect the opinion of the skaters and of the medical commission. So please don't amend this to 16 years and stick to the 17 years in the proposal of the Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Hello, Konrad Niedźwiecki from Polish Speed Skating.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Konrad Niedźwiecki from Polish Speed Skating.
Okay.
We fully support the raise of the age in senior categories, but this point has some other sub-points, and I would like to refer to sub-point D with World Junior Championships age categories. And I would like to reconsider changing this age to 15. So I would like to reconsider staying with 14. And the reason is that category C2, especially with team events like team pursuit or in speed skating or relay races in short track, a lot of smaller countries use the C2 skaters to fill their relays or teams. So this would take the chance of having this relay or team pursuit with World Junior Championships, which is very important for the young skaters. So I would like to reconsider keeping the 14 years old, so category C2 with World Junior Championships. Thank you.
But this is on another proposal.
But this is part of point 21, right? So first part is senior.
Yes, but okay, but we didn't propose a change in junior, no?
Yes, there is a proposal.
Aha, sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I think, sorry, Jane was standing for a while there.
Oh, sorry, Jane, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to emphasize that this is about the health and the safety of our skaters. It's about their longevity in their lives, not their skating career. It's about them as people. It's not about how many skaters you have in your country. It's not about the individual. It's about the skater themselves. And they skate, but they also have lives. And they have the right to develop themselves as people. During their adolescent age, which is very difficult, they need to be able to perform. They need to go through puberty. They need to be able to become independent. They need care during that time. They don't need us forcing them to compete. They need to be able to develop both physiologically, their skills in skating, the passion that they love, but also psychologically, to be able to deal with the pressures of skating, but also the pressures of being an adolescent and being able to carry on in their careers and their lives. So please do not change this proposal.
Now, we remain with Canadian ladies.
Just to follow up on the comment that was made by Poland regarding the age for the junior category for the speed discipline. Basically, this was an attempt to standardize our racing. We are working on a project with the Council for a Junior World Cup eventually or for Challenger events, and the C2 category is not in a separate category in itself in all the other events except for the junior world. But before we supported that proposal and the inclusion of the 1 year higher for the junior world championships, we also did research and just want to point out that if we look at the junior world championship of last season, this would affected less than 2% of the participant in the junior world championship, and in the speed discipline, it's 1%. So this is not, as a change, it doesn't affect a lot of skaters.
Thank you.
Cornele Poeter, Belgium speed skating, but I speak here also for Belgium figure. We support the proposal of the Council because we're talking in this point all the time about skaters, but I think the most of all it's important to clarify we talk about children, and it's our responsibility to protect these children, our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We come back to Norway.
Oh, Maria from Iceland.
Sorry, Iceland.
Thank you. So I was actually going to say something on the same note. By the Convention on the Rights of the Children, children are below 18 years old, and we are talking about a senior category. So safeguarding the athletes, it should be absolutely minimum 17, preferably 18 years old, as we shouldn't make children compete with adults. Thank you.
Lois Long, Synchronized Skating Committee. On behalf of our athletes, we do support this, but I have a point of order clarification. We've had a couple of requests to modify this proposal, delay, and I think we're getting a little, well, I'm getting a little confused here on the floor as to where we are. It's a good proposal, but I think there's a lot of great ideas that might be needed to amend this.
No, we were just discussing with the chair that there were certain proposals, 16 or back to 14 for junior, but nothing is in writing, and the Article 37, I think, requires amendments to put in writing. So maybe the solution would be that over lunch, those who really want to put forward an amendment, they do it in writing. Hopefully not too many different amendments. Hopefully they can be kind of synchronized. And so then we can vote on whether an amendment would be accepted or not. But this would need some time, so it could be earliest this afternoon. But I think Tron wanted to speak too.
Yeah, delegates, I just want to follow up on the intervention from Poland regarding the proposal. It's a module of this proposal to raise the minimum age for participation in World Junior Championships. As explained by Nathalie Lambert from the Short Track Committee, we had a review and data drilling with the technical committees, and it turned out that it's only, marginal, 1%, 2%, where we have this younger skaters competing in the World Junior Championships. And you should be aware that the proposal as it is now will remain with 4 seasons available for a junior skater to compete in the World Junior Championships. The arguments put forward by the Medical Commission, I think, is equally relevant, actually, to going down to 14 for participation in the World Junior Championships. It can be quite a demanding experience for skaters at that young age to be confronted with the ultra-high level at the highest level that we experience in the World Junior Championships. So I strongly recommend the Congress to accept also this module of the proposal.
Thank you. We have further interventions. Yes, please.
Fedor Klimov, the Single and Pair Technical Committee. I'd like to say about the pair skating category, which was brought up, that there are some it's not so popular now, and during past few years, with pandemic, we missed some people like skaters who potentially could go to this discipline, and the number of the participants of competitors and on the seminars, it goes down now, and there is this problem, and also with small countries who has only like one or few teams. I just bringing up this, that there is this problem, and maybe the limitation of the, like big limitation of the age is not help in this way to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there further interventions? Yes, please.
Aris Zakarian, Armenia figure. It's a great proposal. However, it's a major change for small nations, for small countries, and this may affect our popularity in small countries, and we will have some difficulties to have our athletes to participate in a high level. So I will actually suggest to have an age limitation for 16, which is at least we can see how it works, and then maybe if it works, we can increase after that. But for right now, I think 2 years it's a major change. Thank you.
Thank you. More interventions? Yes, please.
Susan Sandvig Show, US Speeds. I'm a little disappointed because I feel we have professionals in the Medical Commission, and we have appointed and elected people in the Development Commission and our athletes' representatives, and for us not to listen to what they are having to say is really disappointing to me. So US Speed is in full support of the ISU's, of the Council's proposal exactly as it's written.
Now, gentlemen, ladies first, thank you.
Maria from Iceland again. So I want to speak on behalf of a small member coming from a country with a population of 350,000 people. So I would say we're probably the smallest country here. It's not about making it to the championships. It's about protecting the children. So please, I encourage you to accept the proposal written by the Council. Thank you.
Please.
Oleg Vasilyev. Number one, in this proposal, I found mistake. In point 3, age limit for singles, pairs, and ice dance, we see 1, 2, and 2. So that's should be probably corrected. And second one, I support this proposal. I think that's right time to move from 15 to 16 years old for ladies to participate in adult competition. But we don't know. Medical Commission did great job to find out what it's really necessary to do this, but we don't know what kind of what it gives us in the long run. So maybe it will be good to do one step at a time. Maybe we need to raise the age till 16, like it says in this proposal. But next step to do maybe after next Olympic Games 2026. If this change will give us some positive things, we will see what it will be on the right way, and it will be necessary to move 1 year older, but 1 year more. But at this point, I don't think what in 3 years to change age limit from 15 to 17, this is the good idea. It could be dangerous. We don't know what it will bring us. So my proposals will be just to delete this point 3 from season 24-25 to change age till 17. Everything else leave like it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, next speaker.
Clara Peters, Ireland. Like Iceland, we are a small member nation, and we support this change completely. I have spent time coaching, particularly learn to skate levels, and I have parents routinely say to me that they do not want their children going beyond a basic level because they do not want them involved in a sport with such a high physical, mental, and emotional demand on our elite level athletes at such a young age. We have to remember they are children first and athletes second. Thank you.
Thank you. You're getting hungry. Susanna.
Susanna Rahkamo, so from the Development Commission. So and what we've been talking here as well is very important, and we can't turn our back to the ethical responsibility towards our skaters. They are, like said here many times, they are children first, and we as a Development Commission take the challenge to develop the skaters also from the older age. So we are sure that our sport will survive if we raise the age to 17, so we have really adult athletes competing in a competition. I think there's more benefits for ISU this way. It is also a question of image, but it's also an ethical responsibility for us to act this way.
Thank you. Please.
Mona Adolfsen, Norway. A lot of very, very strong and good arguments around. I will just remind you also that this is not looking forward for the next couple of years. This is the future of our sport. So we can probably not see the results of this within, or how you ever going to measure the results, but we have to look forward, and this is the long-term looking forward. So we really, really strongly recommend to listen to the skaters, listen to the small members and the big members as well, and but not at least the medical advisors. It's children, and it's the children and our sport for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Still somebody more? Maybe I can mention one aspect that has not been mentioned now after the Olympic Games, is the circumstances you all know. We became quite under pressure from the media point of view, questioning the credibility of the ISU. Now, the defense line was there's a proposal on the table to increase the age, which helped us that this didn't become a major issue, but clearly there were, from the media we received an enormous amount of questions. How come that you allowed such young skaters to compete under this emotional pressure? This should not be allowed. This was a major attack, let's say. We could defend ourselves thanks to the agenda item which was already on the agenda at that time, on the provisional agenda. But the moment of truth obviously is today, because the credibility of the ISU will also be scrutinized. I think this is a fact that the media and the public will watch us very closely, so don't forget this. But there are no more comments? Then, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I would like then to suggest to have the lunch break now. We need the motion. We need a motion to limit to 16 in writing. So that's why We need it, huh?
Yeah.
In writing.
Yeah, and as of when, you know, we don't want a confusion. I mean, this will be voted first if the amendment is accepted. If there is an amendment proposed, it will be voted. If the amendment is not accepted, then we vote on the original proposal. So we go really step by step as foreseen. But the amendment needs to be in writing according to our constitution. And also, I think there's a good reason to avoid confusion, because it could not be clear as of when 16, you know, there's a timeline too, so there might be different opinions as of when. So let's not rush into something and have regrets. Those who want to amend either 17 to 16 or the junior age for junior championships, please do so in writing. If you have members who have the same idea, obviously it's better to synchronize and not have all different ones, can be combined. But we need something in writing this afternoon. So we break a little bit earlier, so you have a little bit more time, and we convene at what time?
We meet again at 2 o'clock, so the lunch is a bit longer than scheduled, but 2 o'clock we meet again. Enjoy lunch.